Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Married to Medicine, Season 11, Episode 10.
They played me. I thought the fight was this week.
Yeah, me too.
I wanted to see the fight this week, Blair. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. Let's go, Blair.
Okay, so we see them do the relay race. Greg flips over a couple of times. Dr. Eugene gets the first point on the board. Cecil flips over. Jackie and Phaedra are moving at a snail's pace and drifting off to sea.
Hey.
Contessa and Heavenly can't seem to get into rhythm, but the winner is the team where it's Dr. Mimi and Dr. Simone.
Hey, listen here. It takes two team. How good would we do?
I think we would do great.
On which part? The actual
On all of it.
on the paddle boarding, on like the kayaking.
Yeah, I think the kayaking would be good. We just have to, left, right, and then the paddle boarding. Put me on that. And
why put you on that?
Because I won't flip over.
You won't flip over?
I won't flip over.
And this is okay. Have you done any of these things before?
No, but I'm very comfortable in the water.
Too overconfident.
Okay.
And things of that nature. I think we would be like Phaedra and Dr. Jackie. Let's just sail off and just have a good time. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. So, Phaedra has her date there for the couple trip, the guy that she met on the speed date.
Okay.
Heavenly tells Simone that she invited Apollo to go to Key West where they're at. She invited him so they can discuss a little bit about how to move on from divorce. Everyone is shocked to see Phaedra roll up with her date, and they play pretty much a variation of the newlywed game.
Okay.
So some of the questions are asked. They're asked, how many dates did you have prior to getting busy with each other? Heavenly asks Phaedra, and Phaedra says that they're not there yet.
Okay.
Heavenly's just kind of being a little bit messy.
Of course she is.
Contessa and Scott were dating long distance, so they said about 10 or over 10. Jackie waited till marriage.
Okay.
Quad and King said probably about 30, but they cheated. And then we learned that King has a 9-year-old daughter.
Oh, nice.
They discuss the number of times of sex they have a week. Sweet Tea says twice a week, but more when she's ovulating.
Okay.
Quad is talking about they need to have a baby Lunceford, and Quad will throw the baby shower. Prior to that, Quad was talking about she and King get it popping about 15 times a week. Toya tells Quad, we probably need to chill out because it's awkward because your ex-husband is right behind you.
Yeah.
Quad said that she chose to end the marriage and it's done. T said that he wanted the marriage to end too, and Quad and Heavenly are pretty much like, girl, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, now stop right here before we get deeper into the mess, right?
Okay.
What is your feeling while watching Quad and basically lean over and say, oh, y'all need to have sex more because y'all need to have a baby soon, and even I threw the baby shower. Just the feeling of how the night's going between the couples.
I just felt like Quad was a little loose. She was a little too loose. I think that she's on vacation. She's with her new man. She's trying to have a good time. But I feel like you're also in mixed company.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So the way that you talk around your girlfriends normally, which this is her friend group per se, she could probably be as loose as she wants to be, but with Dr. G and T there, she kind of needs to reel it in a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
I actually was thinking about King. I was thinking maybe she need to reel it in because she got her new man there, right?
That too.
As in hey, I'm going to play it cool because I'm a guest amongst your friends, but I don't think it feels good to watch you lean over talking to your ex-husband's wife or even just in that direction, telling them what they need to do about their marriage and things of that nature. Talk about you go throw the baby shower, and it just came off as if Quad was just doing a little too much because maybe she felt a little too good. Dude, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Dr. G said he fought for his marriage, but things got unhealthy, and then he moved on. Quad supports T and Dr. G's marriage, and Dr. G says, honestly, we don't really care what you think, and hopefully you're happy.
Oh.
T keeps trying to talk to Quad because Quad keeps chiming in and saying little things to them.
Yeah.
And Greg is yelling at her to be good and pretty much stop talking.
Yeah.
Quad says her man would never speak to her like that. Quad thinks that Greg was mad at King's presence just because he's the new man. He looks better, all these different things, I guess, in her eyes, and that's how she felt.
Okay.
Simone says that the hotel sent her a text message and the night is over.
Oh, my goodness. You see what I mean?
Yeah. And Toya goes over to Sweet Tea and just tells her pretty much, when somebody's buzzed, sometimes they can go a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Quad is still talking mess to some of the ladies. She's talking about how she switched from being Miss Lunceford to wanting to be Mrs. King. She thinks T shouldn't speak on the situation before her because she does not know what happened.
Okay.
King said that Quad is bringing the trauma from the past to the present. She is aware of it. She will apologize, but it's just a process. Greg didn't want T going back and forth with Quad. T said, if Quad is going to talk to me, I'm going to speak back. I'm not just going to be on mute. Greg is tired of the negativity. He's telling her, you need to just let Quad be. He goes to take a walk, and then T tries to go after him.
What is your thoughts, Blair, if you have any on the whole thing?
I just wish that they wouldn't have let Quad rile them up so much.
Yeah, me too.
I understand that it was probably a frustrating situation, and she was going on and on. You know what I mean? Like, she wasn't trying to keep it cute at all. Like, she kept talking to them. I think she hit Greg on the leg, and T, when she turned around, it's just like, kikiing and laughing with them.
I mean, she's just a little loose. A little loose.
And I'm just saying, I get that she's loose and she's comfortable, but you don't have to be chummy with them. Like, you can answer the question and be cute with your man, Well,
here's the thing, right? So let me go on King first, since King he said the least, right? He said that she is bringing her past trauma, but it's a process. He seems like he's patient. And plus, he looked like he's keeping it cute too, at least in the moment, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to embarrass you in front of your friends. You get what I'm saying? This is your friends. Thank you for inviting me out on vacation and things of that nature. But I'm not going to be over here yelling at you, even though I may feel like upset. Because if I was Quad's man, I'd be like, you doing a little too much. But guess what? You amongst your friends, right? Now, when it comes to Dr. Greg, now this is... I don't know. Dude, you think he was jealous?
I don't know.
It's hard.
I don't want to say he was jealous necessarily, but I think that the whole situation was irritating.
Okay.
And I feel like Quad was... I don't think she was trying to flaunt her new relationship in his face necessarily.
I don't know about that,
but I think that the way she was answering the questions could be seen as her flaunting.
Yeah.
And clearly they went through some hard things. And that's why you don't mix friend groups. You know what I'm saying? With your ex. It's just like, you want to be comfortable to talk and laugh and joke about how many times your man gets you off and all this type of stuff. I don't do that. But some people do that in their friend groups. Yeah. And it's just awkward to do it around your ex-husband, Yeah.
I just go back to previous seasons where they was together. And all I was thinking about is 10 years that they was married. Talk about Dr. G and Quad, right? And no baby, right? Meanwhile, I'm going to mix a little of real life news with the show. You got Sweet Tea on interviews saying that Quad is jealous of their relationship because they trying to have a baby, and now Quad and King is allegedly trying to have a baby, and that basically Quad wants Sweet Tea's life. And I'm just like, you literally still have that woman's clothes in your house. Yeah. I don't think it's jealousy or anything or envy in that way coming from Dr. G. But I will say that's a lot of history. That's a lot of hurt.
Yeah.
It's a
Maybe
lot.
It's more so hurt.
Yeah. And then you over here, I think it was something across the lines of, if I can remember correctly, even near the end of their relationship, their marriage, they wasn't having sex.
Yeah, they said for 3 years.
For 3 years? That's wild, right? Meanwhile, you over here talking about you having sex 14, 15, 18 times a week. You get what I'm saying? So there is a lot of hurt. I don't know about jealousy, but awkwardness. Even Toya had to take the clipboard and hide her face a little bit a couple times. But it's even the Quad. We got the Quad speech too during this vacation, but it was a little aggressive. You get what I'm saying? I traded in Mrs. Lunceford for Miss King, and it's just like it's just a little much. Do you feel like Greg was doing too much yelling in Sweet Tea's face?
I did. I felt like it was way too aggressive. I get that he was trying to not have the situation escalate, but in a turn, I felt like he escalated it for himself by hollering at her in the face like that.
Yeah.
Man, I wish T would know when to pick and choose her battles.
Exactly.
Because with Quad, it just wasn't necessary.
No.
Like, it wasn't necessary to go back and forth with Quad. Because what are you trying to prove at the end of the day,
Yeah, I feel Dr. Greg, even though I'm not shooting him no bail to get out of jail.
Yeah.
Because it's literally the kindergarten rule, right? You know, when everybody's talking in class and that's when everybody's shh, shh. Yeah. But if you be quiet, then everybody else will be quiet. Mm-hmm. I think Sweet Tea should have played the role of, hey, drop it, right?
Yeah.
Even though Dr. Greg was activated and things of that nature, he started yelling more the more you kept talking back. That does not give Dr. Greg any excuse to yell at his wife in the way that he did, especially in front of mixed company like that, right? Mm-hmm. But it does take me to the whole point of, like, when they was finally up in the room, he was like, I told you from day one, like, do not go back and forth with her. Yeah. Like, and it made me think, like, hey, Sweet Tea, I understand that, okay, your whole excuse of saying I'm not gonna let her just talk to me and I'm gonna be on mute, but I do want to say there is a strength in silence, mm-hmm. right? There is a strength in letting someone talk themselves out, basically punch themselves out. Mm-hmm. And Quad was lifted a little bit, you get what I'm saying? A little twisted. And I'm just like, let her punch herself out, mm-hmm. because at the end of the day, you got your husband or like your marriage to basically uphold. And I felt Dr. Greg in that moment, I wouldn't have handled it that way. Basically, like, you know, blah, 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 blah. Me, honestly, I probably just would have got up and left.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And hopefully my wife would have just followed me. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, I felt like Dr. Greg could have handled it better. But, hey, he felt like he feels like he don't want to talk about it, and now he's taking a walk, and now, hey, I agree with that. Walk it off. You get what I'm saying?
With that too.
Walk it off. Don't yell all night. Just walk it off.
Mm-hmm. So T tells Toya and Contessa that Greg left for a walk, and Toya said, let him walk. Mm-hmm. Contessa is trying to explain to Sweet Tea that Quad is drunk. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Toya explains that, you know, maybe he's a little bit jealous. She is sleeping with this man all these, you know, which we talked about 15 times a week. Mm-hmm. She stopped sleeping with Greg towards the end of their marriage. Contessa tells her that there is a lot of unresolved stuff there, but T thinks that Greg is just tired of her negativity.
Yeah.
And Contessa tells Sweet Tea, then you just gotta let it go.
Okay.
And I think there is a point to the fact of he's tired of the back and forth with Quad, and he's tired of when he's around her, it's like they kind of have to rehash old stuff, and there's like this tension and everything.
Yeah.
I really feel like he probably shouldn't have came back to the show, you know?
Well,
but since he's here, I mean, how do you navigate the situation? It's going to be irritating.
I think he was trying to do it. I think he had a plan of how to navigate it. And it goes back to what he said to Sweet Tea about, hey, do not get into it with her.
Yeah.
I told you from day one. That's what he said. I think he had a plan, but I think even they underestimated, talk about Dr. Greg and Sweet Tea. They underestimated, like, what reality TV can be, especially this show, right? Because when Dr. Greg was on the show, Dr. Heavily wasn't really doing her YouTube thing like that. You get what I'm saying? On this show, the way that she's doing it now. So now that he came back and now he's being called these things and now everybody's going at his wife because of how she on the show, I think a lot of things that motivated, I don't think, even though I give Sweet Tea a lot of flack, I don't think her disobeying her husband in the sense of going back with Quad was motivated by, I'm just going to talk because she's talking to me. She feels like she has to prove herself in this group.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things motivating her to speak up for herself because no one's speaking up for her. She feels like everyone's talking at her. Last year, Dr. Jackie told her, apologies are for you. You get what I'm saying? So there is a lot of things that motivate. It's not just something as simple as, well, my husband told me to be quiet and I'm just not going to be quiet because someone's talking to me. A lot of things is motivating Sweet Tea to speak up for herself because she got Heavily coming at her. She had Dr. Jackie telling her apologies are for you and things of that nature. A couple episodes ago, we heard that Quad and her bump chests and things of that nature. So she does not feel, she feels like, hey, Dr. Greg, you may ignore it, but I need to defend myself because no one's really coming for me. That's why they attached me to Contessa to the hip.
And that's why I can see all sides of it. I mean, this was going to be hard to navigate anyway, so that's why most people probably just wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's then we kind of have like the debriefing with Dr. Damon, Dr. Jackie, Dr. Heavenly, and
Yeah.
Curtis, and they're all just kind of like giving their perspectives on how everything went down.
Yeah.
Dr. Damon doesn't see how anyone can think Greg could just sit there and have those conversations with his ex-wife, his current wife, his ex-wife's new man.
Yeah.
He says it would have just been too much for him to deal with. He would have been on a flight back home. Like, he's like, it would have been, it's too much.
It would have been me and Dr. Damon on a flight back home. Okay.
And Curtis said that he just wouldn't have came back to the group. And Jackie was like, I wouldn't have want you to come back to the group. So it's a hard thing, and if anyone could handle it gracefully, I would give it to them, because this is a lot. This is a lot.
And my thing is, there's a lot of things that are being said by both parties of why the marriage ended.
Yeah.
You have Quad saying allegedly that he was abusive, even if that means verbally, even if that means dragging me down the stairs. And so it's just a lot of things that we look at Dr. Greg like, you know what happened in your marriage?
And it doesn't help that Sweet Tea is constantly defending
Yeah.
Greg and his perspective of the marriage and what happened during that time, because she wasn't there.
No.
But it's her current husband, so she feels like she needs to have his back. But that goes kind of like picking your time and place. But it's hard to do with this group of women because, like you said, they're always little girling her and coming at her.
Of course.
So she feels like she has to stand up for herself.
Yeah.
It's just very messy.
It's
very messy.
Is this
last
oh yeah.
season.
Only thing I just want to add before we go. I agree with you 100%, and that's why I was gonna say she should have took the role of king, or basically just standing back. But she's a wife. She can't stand back too far.
Yeah,
You get
and
what
she's
I'm
a
saying?
main cast member.
And also I do feel like well, actually, I'm not sorry that I have to say this, but it has to be said. The reason why people don't respect what Sweet Tea have to say about the marriage or even defending Dr. Greg is based on how y'all got together. Like, you was a fan of the show. You went into this man DMs. You're over 10 years apart. You get what I'm saying? It just comes off as if you are in for an opportunity, right? So that's why whenever we hear you say things like Quad is jealous of me, people respond back to you like you're living in her old house.
Right.
You have her clothes in your closet. You
left.
have her ex-husband.
Yes.
Like everything you have is her old stuff. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I think Sweet Tea, I really don't know. Dude, like, you think they should leave next season? Sweet Tea and Greg?
Not necessarily, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm entertained, but for their peace of mind, I think they should.
For their marriage, right?
Yeah, for their marriage and their happiness. Because who would want to be around their ex and going on vacation with their ex and having to defend themselves and all this type of stuff? That's too much. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the only reason why I say Sweet Tea should leave, only for this, right? And actually, she should stay, but I'm gonna talk out of both sides of my mouth right here. She needs to come in, because I'm gonna give her bail to get out of jail. Last season was her freshman season, right? I call this her sophomore season, which is the sophomore slump, right? Meaning that, hey, let this be the last season you get into it with Heavily. Let this be the last season you get into it with Quad, right? Now you're about to go into your third season, hopefully next season, and we need you to come up with something that is like outside of you beefing with like the OGs of the cast.
Yeah, I think that's just the hard part with her, is that she's fighting to find her place in the group. And this group is just a lot older than her.
Yeah.
And this is not her speed. Even Dr. Mimi, I feel like that's more her age bracket. But Dr. Mimi can relate to the doctors by being a doctor.
Exactly.
And kind of having like similar temperaments and how they go about handling things. So I think with CT, it's just hard for her to find a way to get in and really come across like she's doing the right thing.
Yeah, and then on top of
all awkward.
It's almost like a Mean Girl group in a way.
Yeah, it's like she can never do anything right.
It's nothing she could do, and then they don't really hold your husband to the highest esteem amongst the husbands.
And they don't respect you because you're living in Quad's old house.
So it's like it's a lose-lose battle.
Yeah.
Let us know how Sweet Tea can win this, okay?
Yeah.
Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. You have anything else?
That's it.
Y'all be good.
Bye.